Okay, we're up. Okay, we're up.
I'm so glad that I took
Okay,
notes.
we're up.
I'm so glad that I took
Okay,
notes.
we're up.
I'm so glad that
Let
I
me
took
mute my
notes.
own stream.
I
Dumb
can't wait for you
streamer.
to do the recap.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome on back.
Hello.
Thanks, Will, for tuning in. Our faithful fan, always and forever. We love you. We're back here for another session of the Hands of Death. We're gonna take some time to do a little bit of a recap since it's been so long since we played last. I thank the players for being patient with me and delaying sessions. I had some health concerns, but I'm better now. So yeah, a recap. So if people want, why don't we start out with anybody who remembers anything about what happened last time? Let's just get that out of the way first, so I know our baseline, and then I'll fill in the gaps.
We're
Okay.
hitting the town.
You're hitting the
Okay.
town.
So, we recently, as members of the Hands of Death, to some degrees, came in one of us, Florence Alagard, longtime member of the Hands of Death. The two, Lilith Mortimer, newly joining the Hands of Death, and three, Ester Paleheart, working with the Hands of Death, went to the something chalet in the mountains. It was snowy and it was cool. There we were talked to by Anna Zorn, who sometimes goes by Anna, a member of the Hands of Death, who was all like, hey, so one of the oh shit. Oh fuck. Uh-oh. One of the
doing so
four. Oh no. Oh no,
It's
not
okay.
like this.
It's a tough word. Verdanthi.
One of the Verdanthi.
One of the
I just
five
got it.
Verdanthi. Yeah.
It
sorry.
just came to my head. Verdanthi. Thank you. On my own, with my help of my friends. One of the Verdanthi was there. And Kathrine of the Celestial Guys, and
Oh my god.
she was leading a group called the Bright Eyes, who worshipped the Disgratia, which is this totally fake god. There was a cult. There was intrigue. There was a slightly older merchant man. There was a really cool woman with a really scary cat.
This sounds. Have you ever read the series of Unfortunate Events books? You remember those
Yes.
kid books? This sounds like the jacket text for one of those. It's like a portly, rotund businessman, an incredibly scary woman with an even scarier cat.
But they all have one thing that binds them together.
Right.
And
Orphans.
wait, boyfriends?
Orphans.
Or orphans. Or yes. I've never actually read those books.
So
And
good.
let's see here. Can I keep going?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So we moved along. We espionaged and ingratiated ourselves with the group worshipping the Disgratia, and we participated in the rite, where a number of things happened, dramatic turns of events, and we got people's tokens. For this is a world with tokens and the undead. These undead as ghosts, and they stick around, and there's no true death anymore. And that is what we're trying to, or at least some of us are trying to achieve, a true death and bringing back death, perhaps. And
There's no
stuff
kids
happened.
There's no kids anymore either. Nobody's being born.
Yes, and we hate that because they're so cute. Yum yum. And the Kathrine, we confronted Kathrine, and she was all like, "No, really, the Disgratia is real." And we were like, "That's stupid." And then my colleagues killed her because, holy shit. And then some freaky shit happened. Something about crab walking, but like on the ceiling, and like necks moving, and there was something about Codex going and stuff. It was not very good. I mean, no, sorry, don't get me wrong. It was extremely good, and it freaked me out. That's what I mean. It was very good.
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, yeah, that was good.
It's seemingly possibly the Disgratia speaking through the dead Kathrine. Things got bad. We got out of there as quickly as we could, and we took with us Lind, the slightly older merchant man, and we went back to the city.
That's correct. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You did take a couple of things. So you took Kathrine's cloak with you that she was wearing. which Ester realized as soon as they grabbed it that it was not a full-blown relic, but definitely part of a very powerful one, as if you were grabbing a piece of a broken mirror. Also, you have Ester's relic, or not Ester's relic. You have Kathrine's relic in your possession, which is a skeleton key, and you also have Rella's relic in your possession. That was the scary lady with the even scarier cat in your possession, which is a collar. You have both of those. So we'll need to deal with those today. If Esther, go ahead.
With Rella's relic, I already carved, made a small molding of a small lion, and then cut the collar such that it fit around the small lion.
You did, yes. You've already disabled that relic, but with Kathrine's relic, you'll still have to do something with it. And I don't know what you folks want to do about the cloak. Is there anything else we need to go over before we jump into things?
Yeah. Okay. So I forgot about this tiny plot detail to my character until right after, when Tony was like, "So, remember that part where your brother died?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Forgot to even play that, or even that happened until way after. I was like, I feel like I'm missing something this entire time. So I feel like that needs to change story-wise, because I would have reacted. That would have happened if Kathrine had been the one to kill my brother.
So, to be clear, Kathrine wasn't the one to specifically kill your brother. She was part of the group, right?
Oh, okay. I thought it was her.
Yeah, so there was a group of Verdanthi who engaged in that assassination. And my thought was that we could decide who you blame the most for it, but my thought is that you have this general sense of revenge for all of them because they were all there.
Great.
Right?
Excellent.
But there was also this question with Florence's character where you still have your brother's jade earrings, so are you maybe I can convince one of them to bring him back, and maybe you're wrestling with that. I didn't know if you wanted to go into that area of the character.
I think we should. But now that I have this cleared up, I can make a note. It was not actually Kathrine, but it was someone more vague. Maybe just the group. I like the group. That makes more sense.
Yeah, I was kind of assuming there was a group. And then, Tony, with Ester, there's definitely one of the Verdanthi that you have this hate. I don't know what I would call it. You have this sense of immense jealousy for that you stole the wedding ring from.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get into that more. I have an idea for which one of the Verdanthi it could be. But I just wanted to let you know that that's still in my mind, and it's coming. Yeah.
Thank you. In my mind, it's possibly a little spicy in the past.
As if you were involved with this Verdanthi before?
Possibly, yes.
Interesting.
But any of the details of that, I leave up to you, and I'll follow suit.
Okay. Because if you have other, input for that, I can do it. And then to reiterate, Lily, for you, Windy, don't forget you are being hunted down by Ophelia, one of the Verdanthi.
Yes.
You're currently on the lam, which is why you've, taken up with the Hands of Death in the first place.
Fabulous.
So I think
something that I don't know. We can have a scene about this if you want, or handle this however you'd like. But I feel like concerning Kathrine's cloak, Ester probably wouldn't let go of it unless very much strong-armed.
Yeah, I think we should have a scene about the relics, that one included. I think there's some great character moments that can happen there. So I'm excited to see where that goes.
Okay.
Okay, is there any other questions anybody has?
Nope.
Okay. All right.
Hey, wait, before we get going, I just want to say I'm really happy that I can be here with my friends and play this fun game with y'all.
So sappy.
It's true, though. Anyways, go ahead.
Oh, me too. I love you guys. I'm so happy to be here. No, it's good. No, I appreciate that, Tony. I really do. That's great. That's good to hear. Okay, so welcome back, everybody. Let me get us in here. So Whoa. Oh, you guys were drawing shit around Lind. Okay. I came back to this page in my view, and I was like, what the heck happened?
Is that Lind?
That
Wait,
is
is he-
Lind. Yeah.
Is
I'm
he
the
that
wizard?
old?
Is Lind?
He
Wait,
yeah.
whoa.
Yeah.
Wait.
Oh, I thought he was maybe a little younger than that.
I
So
was like, I don't know, 40?
No, no,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, I was getting major 45-ish vibes for
Major
sure.
45. Wait, actually, sorry, Chef. I mean, listen, he can be whatever you want him to be, but I was kind of hoping possibly for a scene later. Is it okay if he's younger? Like,
Yeah. We can make him younger. That's fine. That was the token artwork I had created at first. We can assume he's a little younger. For Lind, I was thinking like
He looks so sleepy.
early 60s. Yeah, that was one of the things about his character. I said he had this hat on that was like a nightcap, but still looked fashionable. So I was like,
Yeah.
cool.
Fashionable.
Yeah. Also, yeah. Will's like, what the heck is this visual? Well, that's because I haven't transitioned us yet. Here we go. Okay. Welcome in. Cue this up. Cool.
man, I wish I could have just like ASMR of like someone being like, okay, and cue that up, and let me go check the levels. And
Yeah, that's
no,
the
that's not
worst.
quite right.
I
If I could go maybe like a little more decibels there.
Okay, you gotta make your dreams come true. Who's
I
gonna make it at you?
I plan to take more time streaming in the coming months, so hopefully I will get better at not saying what I'm doing.
You're doing great, Codex.
Yeah.
Keep going. I'm getting the tingles.
Okay. So, let me take a pause here, refocus.
Meth Dumbledore. Oh my god.
Shaking it out. Meth Dumbledore, baby. Yeah.
Ooh.
Harry, did you smoke all the methamphetamines?
Oh my god.
Did you use the goblet of fire as a bong?
Harry, you're gonna have to do this whole line.
Harry,
The whole line, Harry.
it's the only way to stop Voldemort, Harry. Do this whole line of cocaine.
Do it for me. No matter what I do, no matter how many lines.
Oh my gosh.
I'm clipping that.
I was just gonna say, I think we need to clip that. Clip that. Oh my god.
Your carriage descends from the Yatharan Mountains, and the scenery around you of snow-capped peaks and high pine trees soon gives way to a scene of more tropical, pleasant foliage. The heat and the sweltering humidity of the lower reaches of Avalandir, the country you're currently in, hits you full force through the carriage windows. People start to sweat a little bit. You guys open the carriage windows up. Folks get their fans out and start fanning themselves as you get closer and closer to the seaside town of Chandla, the city of candles in the world of Charis. Chandla is the main city of Avalandir, the country that you're currently in, and like the main part of the world that the Verdanthi took over after they destroyed Death. There are other parts of Charis that have been affected by this world-spanning change, but this is the seat of the Verdanthi's source of power, and so it's where most of the focus is directed. Chandla itself, which you all know well because you spend an exorbitant amount of your time in that city, is governed by two main entities. There's the Church of the Verdant, which was an organization before Death was killed, but has since grown in power immensely and changed its capacity ever since Death was murdered. As you can imagine, now that Death is gone, the Church of the Verdant has a lot of room to step in. And other than that, there is the City Guard, which are run by the Beastmasters from Marith the Beast Shaper's army. The one Verdant conqueror who took over most of Avalandir after he returned from Death's realm. The king, basically. And probably one of the final Verdanthi that you'll have to take out, as taking him on will require quite a bit of resources. Chandla itself comes into view as the carriage trundles onward. You can see it a long way off in this 2-day journey to get back to the city, because Chandla is, I would say it's like a collection of candles. You see it a long way off, rising high above the seaside coast that it hangs off of. The buildings rising to the top with glowing blue lights glimmering like flickering candles in the darkness of the night. It is a beacon to any traveler, letting them know that this place is here and it is ready to receive them. However, the city's stark beauty from far away hides a terrifying secret close up, or at least an unsettling one. The reason that there are so many blue flickering lights at the top of all the buildings in Chandla is because of the ghosts. You see, ghosts are everywhere these days. You can't really get rid of them. They wander the world. They don't really have anywhere to go. So they have to go somewhere. And what the Church of the Verdant has done is they've created these rods with special science based out of the Verdant Church that attract the ghosts, draw them to them like lightning rods, and they've placed them at the top of most of the buildings in Chandla. This keeps the ghosts out of the way and also makes it so they're easy to access should the Verdantha need to resurrect anybody. They're not too far away from their bodies, which can cause weird problems when it comes to resurrection. So, the city of Chandla is a combined city of a whole bunch of different spires and towers, little tiny apartments, buildings all crammed together in a suffocating mass, with masses of blue pale ghosts surrounding the spires at the top of the city, like candle flames flickering in the night. Surprisingly, most of the residents of Chandla are used to this by now, but from far off, coming in from the rest of the world, where the wilderness is stark and green and beautiful and natural, for lack of a better word, it does remind you all that you're heading back to a place that really shouldn't be. Anna grimaces as she looks out the carriage window and turns back to look at all of you. I hate this. Every time we come back to the city, it's like being reminded of how much farther we have to go on our missions. She bites her lip and looks around at everybody in the carriage. Lind glances out the window and watches as the ghosts float above the city towers, and he says, I find it rather pleasant, to be honest. It's kind of they're like an art piece, something to be treasured.
Oh, an eye for art, do you, Lind?
Yes, I'd like to think so. I'm a bit of a curator, if I do say so myself.
Yes, and this curation of ghosts, truly lovely, something to behold.
I think from far off it can have a distinct beauty. Isn't that what you folks are all about? He says, gesturing with both hands. Beauty and death. In a way, shouldn't you enjoy this?
I don't think that the ghosts would really feel that way if they heard you saying that.
Oh. Well, I'm glad that they can't give their opinion then, he says, smiling.
Not to you.
What?
Lind, I'm also glad they can't give their opinion.
He connects something in his mind as you say that, Lily, and his eyebrows raise a bit, and he says, "Were you?" And he leans forward a bit and whispers, "Were you talking to Rella's ghost? Was that what was happening?"
I shift around uncomfortably, kind of regretful. I turn and look out the window.
So something we need to clear up real quick before we continue. Do you folks still have the death masks on, Florence and Lily?
No.
Okay.
I think you took them off.
Okay. Then it's at this point that Lind squints his eyes a bit more, Lily, as you turn, and looks at your face closely. And now that the adrenaline's coming down of his life almost being taken and this whole sordid affair, he suddenly realizes who you are. And he says, "Oh, no, by life and death, you're the one the Vedanthi are looking for."
And Lind, tell me more about your businesses. I would love to hear everything.
He glances over at you, Esther, clearly wanting to engage you in conversation about the businesses, but also this revelation has sent him reeling. He's had a lot of surprises today. He turns to you and says, yes, there's the perfume business. That's my newest venture, funded with acquired capital. I plan to get right back to it as soon as I get back to the city of Chandla. Yes. Can you talk? You can talk to any. Oh my. Oh, that's. Can you hear them all the time? Can you shut them out?
Lind, please read the room or the carriage, so to speak. Tell me every boring detail you can imagine, but you do not speak to Lily about herself.
Lily, how do you feel about this? What's going on with you?
I'm shifting. I'm visibly uncomfortable. It's a combination of fear, but also frustration. I'm at a loss. I don't know if I can trust him. In fact, yeah, I don't trust him.
Okay. That's great. Hold on, sorry. Messing with my windows here. There we go. Lynn turns back to you, Ester, and begins giving you a long-winded discussion, a really boring discussion of his business ventures and where he plans to take them. You understand half of it. By the way, since we have a new session here, everybody should restore your fate points to your refresh value. So yeah, I think for most people that should go from 2 fate points to 3. You can do that on your character sheets, I believe, if they're not already there. Let me know if you have any problems doing that. Florence, while this is happening, Anna leads across one of the red plush velvet chairs to you. You hear the creak of the leather as she leans forward and whispers something to you. And she says, Florence, we're going to have a bit of a problem once we get back to the city. And she glances over at Lind. I didn't expect you to bring a stowaway back with you. He creates issues, especially since he's seen Lily's face. We'll need to take him into captivity for a while. Can you help me with that?
Well, of course. We brought him. Why did we bring him again?
So what
Can I
happened
have a
was
recap on that?
For his money. No.
what happened was you encountered Kathrine's shifting, her corpse changing once you left.
Yes.
Once you killed her. And at that point, everybody was freaked out. Lind insisted on going back to the chalet to grab some of his things. And you were like, no, you're coming with us. And you hastily retreated while the Bright Eyes were still off on the right.
That's right. And then we also wanted his help with other things in the city earlier in the cave. Is that right?
Yeah, you thought you could use his resources later. He said he had some connections in the business world. He basically said whatever he could to not get killed in that moment, but you don't think he was lying. So he may have some connections that could get you resources later on if you wanted to pursue those.
Excellent.
And something I want to be very clear about is when you look over at Esther, you see them sitting next to Lind with the Kathrine's cloak over their lap, asleep on his shoulder.
Aw.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
Who's asleep on whose shoulder?
On Esther on Lynn's, who is, I would imagine, continuing to talk.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Lynn's going on. He's seen that you falling asleep, and everybody starts to realize that Lind is talking now more for his own comfort than anybody else who's actually listening.
Anna Lauren, I will absolutely help you. But why don't we just leave him with Esther?
I also wanted to just make it clear, her name is just Anna. I'm realizing I was saying her first and last name, like Anna Zoran, a lot, but it's just Anna. Zoran is her last name. Yeah, I realized re-listening to the sessions that might not have been clear. But yeah, her name is just
This
Anna.
is a very unique name. It's kind of
yeah,
cool.
I liked Anna Zorn.
Anna Zorn.
Anna Zorn.
Clip that.
Action
clip that.
adventure. Death hands. Anna Zorn.
She. That's really
Anna
funny.
Zorn rules.
Anyway,
Anyway, okay.
I thought you were
Yes.
asleep.
We Is that just your like inner monologue every time you see Lind? It's just like that, but you know, same sort of enthusiasm.
Not for Lind. Absolutely not.
Does Lind have his own theme song?
No, of course not.
yeah, no, it's just a tuba that goes dun 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 dun. Right.
Anyways, okay, so Florence says to Anna, she's like, of course I'll help you, but you know, I think we could just leave him with Esther.
She blinks.
Look at them.
She has like a look of surprise on her face, and she says, "No, we can't. Are you serious? Ester's not exactly the most reliable. And Lind is a huge security risk now. We need to keep him under wraps. In fact, I'd like to question him. He was very close to a Verdanthi for a very long amount of time. The organization will want to interrogate him."
All right. That sounds fine.
Then, yeah, she scratches her neck. I'd ask him myself, but I feel like he's not going to trust me as much as he trusts you. So please, if you can convince him to submit himself to being locked up, we'll treat him well.
How well? like a grade A prisoner, grade B prisoner. Like what are we talking about?
We'll give him a room in the funeral home. He'll have a bed and food. Florence, you know what she's talking about. She was referring to one of the Hands of Death hideouts in Chandla. It's located beneath a funerary home, and it's probably the one you'll be heading back to. It has some nice accommodations for guests, but they can lock him in one of those.
I will play this up. All right, you got it.
She nods. Good, that's settled. And then she turns to you, Lily, and she says, "We're approaching the city. I can let you ride outside for a little longer, but you'll have to get in the smuggler's cache pretty soon."
No, that's fine. I'm used to it at this point.
Anna nods, and she throws back a rug in the carriage's center, and revealing a very thinly cut hatch in the floor, and then takes a key out of her pocket, unlocks it, and opens it up. You can see that there's a small step ladder leading down to a small crawl space where you can curl up and hide so the carriage can make its way safely through the gates without the guards spotting you.
Looks cozy.
Mm-hmm.
Am I supposed to get in there now? I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay. So I stand up and do a nice big stretch, and then my eyes go over to oh my God, what is this? I'm sorry.
Lind?
Lind. I look to Lind and I say, as I'm kind of going down on like a step or something, or I crawl down and I stop. I look up at Lind, kind of starkly, and I say, "I've got my eye on you. You could end up just like Rayla if you're not careful." And then I get in.
He pales, like you see the color drain out of his face. He stops his tirade. He almost trembles enough to wake Ester up, but doesn't. Okay, hold on. I'm realizing that some of this stuff is not named correctly, and I'm just fixing it real quick. So you approach the city of Chandla. Its dawn is breaking as you get closer to the city. You can see the blue candles of the ghosts floating high above the spires. And you can hear like the clanging of bells as the city's waking up. Oops, that's not right. You can hear the clanging of bells as the city's waking up. You can see the hustle and bustle of various people trying to get through one of the 5 main gates of Chandla. Chandla itself is a seaside city. So it has a wall that's built around the entirety of most of the town that like curves around, and then a whole bunch of buildings crammed together, and crammed to the back of them is a massive dock which supports a number of ships and shipments that go in and out of Chandla to other ports of call. In a word, the city as you approach it is suffocating. There's not enough room for all the buildings and people that have been crammed in here together, and more people and more buildings just keep getting added over the ruins of the old. As you approach the gates, you can see that there are a number of various groups waiting to go through, and you also see a number of cultivators, members of the Church of the Verdant, wearing green robes with like green hoods over their heads with gold trim at the edges. Each of them has an imprint of a flower tattooed on their right hand to show their allegiance to the church. They are walking along the various carriages, checking them, looking for suspicious contraband, probably looking for Lily, to be honest, just checking things out. Anna leans out of the window and looks up at Mock and gives him a sign. Mock, just as a reminder, is your carriage driver, an old grizzly man who looks like he's a little worse for wear. Mock smiles, stretching his leathery skin, and gives Anna a thumbs up in return, and Anna nods and goes to sit back down. Anna, Florence is giving you a look and glancing over at Lind as if to say, so, you gonna take care of this or what?
I scoot over on the bench and I look at Lind, and Esther's still asleep or pretending to be asleep probably. And and I look at Lind and I'm like, so before we let you go off on your business.
Don't you dare, Professor. He's mine.
I'm not trying to, what do the kids say nowadays? Pick him up? I just have a couple of questions I want to ask you. I don't know. I'm not the one sleeping on him. Anyways, I need to focus.
Ew, what? Ew. Ugh. Gross.
Lind like looks to you, Esther, and looks to you, Florence, and he looks hurt. He's like, oh, well,
don't take anything I say to heart. Accept everything I say. I pat him lightly on the arm.
He gives a heavy sigh.
Professor, whatever you're about to say, whatever you're about to do, whatever you're about to make this man do or die, and I don't want to hear any of it. He's mine.
Well, no, actually, you can't own me. I'm going to go back to my business ventures is what I'm going to do.
Yes, you're going to go back to your business venture, and you're going to meet me at the market at noon on the next day.
I think it's best if we part ways for a time.
I think it's best if you understand your place here.
Florence, what are you
doing? Which is
doing?
with me. I'm just curious, Lind. Do you have any ghosts you're attached to?
What? No. No.
None that are attached to one of the spires among the many buildings here?
No, of course not. No, I make it a point to keep my connections in life to a minimum. You risk less chance of getting hurt that way.
No mother or sibling?
He clears his throat. Not a one.
Not a one?
Mm-hmm.
Well, regardless that I don't truly believe that there's no one that has died that you care about, I would like to ask you a few questions before we send you off on your way to continue your grand perfume business. Would you be willing to come with me for a bit before?
Lind, do not go with them.
Esther, you could come too. You're truly attached. I know how much you like Lind.
Please, I'm trying so very hard to keep the cabin of this carriage clean. No, Florence, I have no desire to go back with you to your catacombs and whatever it is you all do down there. No, Lind, do not go with them.
Lind looks between the two of you, confused. So we can have an opposed roll here between Esther and Florence to see who Lind goes for if we want. That's totally fine. Anna's looking a little bit frustrated with this endeavor as she's watching it play out. So do we want to do that? How are people feeling? What are you thinking, Steph?
Fine.
Okay.
Okay, what do we roll?
Okay, I think the both of you would need to roll. Let me see here. I feel like rapport is the best roll here.
Okay.
Rapport.
Wait, rapport?
Yeah,
no.
Rapport. Yeah. This isn't provoke. You're both trying to be friendly and get him to go along with you. And then Anna Zorin is going to lean in slightly, Florence, as you're having this discussion, and say over like Esther's, interjection. She interjects herself and says, "Lind, you could find yourself in a very profitable position if you were to come back with the Hands of Death. For now, we could give you some insights that might be interesting. Lots of good information from folks who have passed on and not returned. Lind blinks. So Anna's going to give you a +1 to your result here, Florence, and help.
Heck yeah.
Okay, go ahead and roll opposing rapport rules.
Oh. I am going to spend a fate point.
Oh, okay.
Really? On
Can
this?
Can I
yeah.
help?
Yeah, Lily, you can help if you want.
Florence is my guiding light.
Ooh, okay, all right, all right.
How I take umbrage with that? How does that apply to persuading this man?
Because I support this cause, and Florence is my guiding light, so I'm gonna support her in whatever she does.
We can give you so we can either have you give another +1. That's fine. You could also roll to create an advantage for Florence, which she could use to get a free boost. A free tag, so she could essentially get a spend of an aspect without spending a fate point. I think that's the best way to handle this. So what do you want to say, Lily, and how do you want to say it to give Florence this boost? Or what action do you want to take? Hello?
Can you push up the floorboard and glare?
Right. I'm now feeling okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. I open up the door, pop my head out, and I turn to Ester and I say, "Hey, weren't we gonna go work on that top secret project together tonight? I'm coming with you." I don't know if that used my thing right, but it's a manipulation tactic, since I had just finished a cute little I had what is the word that I'm
I don't know.
You've got this.
oh my god, I threatened Lind, so
You did.
I'm trying to manipulate the situation. I don't know if that counts as Florence as my guiding light, but essentially Lind is afraid of me, so like why would he follow?
Yeah, so you could
Does that work?
create so essentially what you're going to do here is you're going to try to create a aspect that Florence can use to create an advantage, right? So hold on one second. So what you're essentially doing here is you can create in a situation aspect, you can create a boost, and what those will do is it will let Florence use them to get a boost to her own role in here. So whatever you're doing to do that, so right now what it sounds like you're doing is trying to roll rapport against Ester to get them to be more interested in coming out with you tonight than, dealing with this whole Lind thing.
Oh, I just want Lind to hear me saying that, so that he's avoiding me.
Because you'll be with
Esther.
I see.
I have no actual intention of doing that.
I see. No, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah. Then let's have you roll something against Lind real quick. So that would be. What do we think that would be, gang?
Deceive.
Oh yeah. Is there just a deceive skill? I've been out of this for too long. Sick.
Mhm.
Yeah. Deceive would make sense. I think provoke also makes sense here because you're trying to intimidate him if you want. You could roll either of those. And then I will roll Lind's defense.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I rolled twice. I'm sorry. Wait, did I? Oh, God. Oh, God, I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's okay. I think with these, you just pick the first one.
Yeah. We'll just take the first one. So that's -3.
Can I just say a line real quick? Child, if you think you'll be dictating my plans for the evening, think again. You'll be sleeping on the floor.
Okay, so you have a choice now. You can wait to see what Lind rolls, which we'll do in just a moment. I'm just trying to look up what exactly you roll against this. Wish there was a quick and easy thing to throw the skills. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
I think deceive. So it's weird because some skills are rolled against will and others are rolled against empathy. So I always forget which is which.
Oh, I
Uh,
should have rolled empathy, but that's not really what I was
Yeah,
doing.
you should have empathized with the man instead of threatening him.
Yeah. Yeah, I
I
mean,
do
yeah,
regret that.
you could have read his emotional state and then whispered something to Florence about it. That would have worked.
Well.
Let me see here.
Meanwhile, I'm like telling Lind about, he could like have a nice place to stay and a free meal.
Stealth. What the heck? What do you use to defend?
It would be so safe. Like, you would have eyes on you. Like, no one would come to get you, even though you know Lily. It would be so safe.
Yes, a jail cell is just the pit.
A jail cell is
the
a
top of
strong
comfort.
word for what we're offering here.
But a word nonetheless.
It sure is a word that I'm not using. Just keep that in mind.
All right, Lynn needs to roll his empathy to defend against this, which he's actually good at. Here we go. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
No, he beats you by 6. So, Lily, you could spend a fate point here for a reroll if you wanted. You could let it go by and let the failure continue, in which case we'll go back to the contest that Florence and Esther were having.
I've returned back into the abyss of
Into
my,
the hole.
Yeah.
into my little hole.
I think Lynn glances at you and Esther says that line, and Lynn looks to Esther, looks to you and says, "Yes, run along, little girl, please. The adults are talking."
Okay. Well, Linda and I are not off to a good start there.
So where's the math at with the Florence Esther contest?
3-2.
It's 3-2 at this moment, and we're on to you spending fate points. So how would you like to proceed?
I'm gonna spend a fate point to gain 2 using a striking vanity, which is I'm insulted at the notion that Lind would choose to go with them over me.
Okay.
And I communicate this just by sort of like tugging his arm a little.
You're like cajoling him to. Okay, all right. Florence, how do you want to respond? So now it's 3-4. So you could spend your own fate point and kick it back up, and we could keep spending fate points ad nauseum.
I will not, because we're gonna get to the gate soon. I'm gonna let you win this and have Anna be disappointed in me.
Anna clenches her jaw and grinds her teeth as Lynn turns to Esther and says, "You know, I think I'd rather go with Esther if it's all the same to the both of you."
How about I come with you two as well?
Oh my God,
Well,
Mom, ease up.
Oh, that'd be agreeable. There's nothing wrong with having her along, right?
I want to see your art in person. I want to see what your studio's like, Esther. I haven't seen your work since that one show with the weird sculptures. But, maybe if I had a closer look into your creative process.
Lind, I cannot emphasize enough. She is a total bore.
Lind,
if you go to a lecture, you will have the most comforting sleep in your life.
Incredible.
Lynn's like grinning from ear to ear, and he says, "Oh, she simply has to come. This interplay is too good to miss."
Fine.
Lily, you're picking up on something here with your empathy. Not that you wanted. I don't know if you want to do anything about it or not, but Lynn has definitely realized throughout this interaction that Anna definitely wants to, basically arrest him and capture him, which he's not too keen on, despite Florence's, persuasions. And he's using this moment as, a way to say, no, what if we just distract everybody and have a good time together? Okay, so Lynn nods and says, "Excellent, yes, seeing your studio and the art pieces you create, maybe we can even get some on the market. I know a few people."
Fine. Florence, noon, the market, tomorrow.
Anna's staring hard at everybody, and she walks over to Lynn and stares him down, and Lynn looks up at her, and she hisses at him, and she says, "Fine. I suppose you can be trusted for now." She glances over at the 3 of you. "But if I find out that you've given us away or done anything that hampers our operations," She widens her eyes and she says, "We'll find you. And somebody else will be wearing your face from then on." And Lynn just like goes completely pale, and she walks over and sits back down at her seat and just stares at him until the carriage reaches the gates to Chandler. Does anybody else want to do anything?
I'm very pleased. I'm all right with how everything's gone.
I like just look at Lind. I'm like, you could have just come with me.
Well, I'm no longer in any way touching this man. I'm like arms crossed, like leg crossed, like looking away from Florence.
I open my hatch door just ever so slightly.
And I kick it back down.
No one notices but Lind, and I have fiery eyes. Not with passion, but with anger.
He's sufficiently cowed. You feel like he probably won't talk to anybody unless they really do some convincing.
Incredible.
Okay, so we need to do
RPGs are the best.
We need to have a little bit of a level up situation here because you all have completed what I would call a significant milestone. So
Killed a person.
you did. You killed a person, and in my games, when you kill people, that gets you more. That makes you more powerful. That's no.
That's awesome. That's like in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in Fate, the level up system doesn't work with traditional RPGs where you have levels and you rise in strength as you go. You acquire what's called milestones when you reach significant points in the story. And for this one, I'm calling it, there's 3 levels of milestones. There's minor, and that's like when you accomplish like a minor task or something. Usually at the end of a session, though not always. I kind of kept it off. I kind of kept minor milestones off for this first part of the campaign because I was allowing you guys to switch out stuff for your characters anyway, and that's pretty much what minor milestones do. So I didn't worry about those until now. There's minor milestones, significant milestones, which actually let you increase your skills and get new powers. And then there are major milestones, which give you a big power up. We probably won't get one of those until a couple more Verdanthi are cold in the ground. Now, for a significant milestone, you get the following, and we'll walk through this together. But basically, you get the effects of a minor milestone, which you can choose to do one and only one of the following. You can choose to do one and only one of the following. You can switch the rank values of any 2 skills, or replace one average +1 skill with a skill that isn't on your sheet. So if you wanna swap some skills around between ranks, or if you want to replace an average +1 skill with a different skill, if you're like, this one hasn't been as useless as I thought it would be, you can do that. You can change a single stunt for another stunt. Not all of you have all your full collection of stunts yet either, which we should work towards, but excuse me. You can do that. You can purchase a new stunt, provided you have the refresh to do so. Remember, you can have 3 stunts for free, and then each stunt you take above 3 reduces the amount of fate points you get per session by 1.
Mm-hmm.
And you can also rename one character aspect that isn't your high concept. So you can actually change part of your character if you want to. If you're like, this piece of them doesn't really fit anymore, let me erase that and write in a better aspect. You can do only one of those. So go ahead and pick which one of those you'd like to do. Explain to me why you're doing it. Try if you want to try to make it connect to what your character's been through so far, and then we'll move on to the next step.
Okay.
If people,
we're all doing this.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, you're all doing this.
Oh man.
I feel like I need to purchase a skill. You say you can purchase one?
So you can swap them. So you could take like your highest level skill, or you can take like a. So let me look at a specific example for you, Florence. So for example, you could say to yourself, hey, this empathy skill really hasn't been worth it to me to have around, but notice seems pretty useful. I'm going to swap out empathy with notice. So empathy would become 1 and notice would become 2. You could also say, hey, rapport isn't really useful. I could swap that out with athletics, and then rapport would become 0 and athletics would become 1.
And I'm sorry, you said this is a significant milestone?
It is,
okay.
But we're doing the significant gives you the minor and then gives you more, so we're doing the minor first.
Oh, okay, I understand.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I'll purchase a new stud.
Yeah.
Um,
How many cents do you have right now?
2.
Okay, so you get one more for free, and then you could purchase an extra one, right, with this minor milestone. But it would decrease the amount of fate points you get per session to 2.
Oh, I see. Oh.
Windy, what are you thinking? Let me help you
Oh,
out.
I'm stumped beyond belief.
You also don't really have to do anything for this. Basically, what this is letting you do is swap things around. So if
I
you're
want
like,
another skill though. That's what I really want.
okay, good call. Yeah. Think about maybe think more about what is my character's role in the group, and what could I swap around to be more effective in that department, or maybe think what's a skill that I think will be more useful in the coming days. Let me swap that in.
So I'm sorry. I know I I know you can swap one of your hires with an average. What was the other option with skills?
You can replace. So you can swap the levels of any 2 skills, or you can replace one average skill with a skill that isn't on your sheet. So you can have a skill that you have at 0, and you can have a skill that you have at 1, and you can switch their places.
Okay.
Or you could say, I have this skill at 4 and this skill at 2. I'm going to switch them.
Right. Okay.
I did just drop a link in the Discord chat that goes over everything here. And we're only dealing with minor milestones at the moment. So actually, I think I'm not going to do anything for my minor milestone.
Okay.
I'm
Sorry.
also
Yeah.
not going to change anything.
Cool. Yeah, this is why I wasn't doing them before, because I was basically letting you guys do this freely anyway. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm considering it. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, take your time. You're good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Then on to the significant milestone. In addition to the benefit of minor milestone, you also gain both of the following. Both of these. You get 1 additional skill point, which you can spend to buy a new skill at +1 or increase an existing skill by 1 rank. And if you have any severe consequences, you can rename them to begin the recovery process. But I don't think anybody has any consequences right now, do you?
No.
No. Okay. So remember, when you're increasing your skills, remember the skill pyramid. So it's hard to see on this sheet. It doesn't really represent it well, but basically you can't have more skills in a higher skill level than you do of a skill level below it. So, for example, if you have 2 level 4 skills and 1 level 3 skill, that won't work. It breaks the pyramid. You have to build a firm foundation first and then work your way up as you go along. So the reason they do this is because it kind of forces you to slowly level up your skills rather than jumping everything right to where you want it to be.
Question: Does 0 count in that math, or is 1 the base of the pyramid?
1 is the base of the pyramid.
Okay, great.
But you could buy a new skill, putting it from 0 to 1, and then you'd have 5 blocks on the base of your pyramid rather than 4.
So correct me if I'm wrong. We have to do either a 0 to 1 or a 1 to 2.
Yes, that's correct. Yep.
Okay.
Can't you have 3? Why can't you have 3 3s on top of 3 2s?
Or actually, doesn't it have to be a 0 to 1?
1 additional skill point, which you can spend to buy a new skill or increase. No. Because so you could have. Oh, you're right. Yeah, it does. It actually does. Yep. Yeah, it has to be a 0 to 1. You're correct.
Okay.
Because that would break the pyramid. Windy. So if you think about your skills, your 4 rank skill is the top block of the pyramid, and then you got 2 blocks below that with your 3, and 3 blocks below that with your 2s, and 4 blocks below that with your 4s.
I just wanted to build a rectangle, but it's fine. I'll keep the pyramid.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to increase my resources by 1, which I feel like is sort of reflected in everything that happened.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Do this. I'll
I'm
figure it
gonna
out.
increase my stealth by 1.
Nice.
It says you have 21 skill points and are allowed a skill total of 20. You won't be able to save your changes until you correct this.
That's not right. Hold on one sec.
I do this.
There's the gear icon in the top right next to skills. It took me a bit. That's like you're doing exactly what I did roughly 10 seconds ago.
Okay. Okay.
Why do you have 21 skill points?
I am.
Oh, hold on. Give me a sec. Let me try to figure out that skill point gap.
At least recently, I've been listening to this song called Red Wine Supernova by Chappelle Roan. And it is extremely catchy and fun. I highly recommend it.
Red Wine Supernova. Okay.
I'll take the team's thoughts because I'm gonna add. Yeah, I'm gonna just go from 0 to 1. I guess that's like the only option. So
Lily, I feel like needs like rapport or provoke because we did a lot of that during our last.
yeah, I was kind of thinking. Yeah, I was thinking either provoke or deceive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, I'll do provoke. Yeah, I'm feeling I'm sorry, the third one was drive. I'm just not super familiar with like how useful these skills are, but I think based on the story it would be one of those 3 that I'm like getting a little bit more passion for the cause.
Is it drive like literally driving something like a car
Oh my god, you're right.
Or carriage.
Yeah.
or a carriage or whatever?
That's not what
A
I
horse?
want.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
okay. I'll do provoke.
Great.
Or you know, like how like really advanced like riders like they say they drive the horse. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works. No. Drive in our case does work for riding horses and stuff. If you wanted to bring that in, but I will admit that skill. If you take that skill, it's going to be more on you to make it work. I'll try to put in things for it, but yeah.
No. I'm not. I completely read that wrong.
Okay.
But I do have the same issue with I only have
Skill cap.
20. Yeah, I got a skill cap.
I just fixed the skill cap issue. Everybody should be able to work with it now.
Oh, there she blows.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, hold on. Let's see. Skill columns. You can't have more skills at a certain rank than you have the rank. Yeah, okay. I'm doing that right. Okay.
Da-da-da. Okay.
Fabulous.
We all have a new skill. That's fun.
That is fun.
Cool.
And what's the other thing? The severe consequences?
Yeah, if you had a severe consequence, you can start working on that. But yeah.
Rad.
Okay, cool. Nice. And that's it. Piece of cake, right?
Piece of cake.
All right.
Easy.
Why is that open?
We'll get better at that.
Yeah, that's good. What the heck? Sorry, it's just displaying Lily's token for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, hello.
Hold on.
Better than my dumb face from the Discord. I see that's back. Gotta change it.
That's weird. No? Why is it a rolling dice?
It's my show now.
Oh, this is interesting. It's opened. All right. That was weird. Okay, I fixed it. Sorry. Okay, so the carriage trundles on and makes its way to the front gates of Chandla. Everybody looks out the windows. Anna sweats a little bit, but she's been through this a couple of times now. And you see the cultivators come up to the windows of your carriage, and a cultivator with like a bluish, with a set of bluish eyes and like a pale blonde beard and hair. He has like longer locks that dangle just past his ears and kind of like stick out of the robe's hood a bit. Walks up and speaks to Mock a few times. You hear Mock say something to him, and the man cracks a smile and laughs along at some kind of joke. And then he leans his head in one of the open windows of the carriage, and he says, morning, folks. How we all doing today?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing just fine, Just taking a look around here, making sure you folks don't have anything, illegal, contraband, that sort of thing. You know how it goes. He's like,
Yes, everyone entering is a thief. Be quick about it.
his eyes are scanning the carriage. You notice this man is acting jovial, but he's being very serious about his scan. He glances over at Lind, and he says, "How you doing, old man? You feeling good?" "I am quite fine." "All right." He glances over everything. "All right. Seems to be in order." Smiles. "You folks have a good day now. Pleasant travels." Slaps the carriage. Walks off. It takes a few more moments as the carriage trundles through the gates of Chandla, but eventually, Mock makes his way into the crammed city streets, yelling and swatting at people as they walk along the side of the carriage, trying to make his way through the street to get back to the garage near the funerary home where the Hands of Death make their, rest. Eventually, after an agonizing crawl, he makes his way to this garage, a larger stone building with a metal slat door built in front of it. He pulls the carriage in, unhitches the horses, and gets them set up in the stable nearby. As Anna begins packing up things, opening up the smuggler hold for Lily, allowing her to get out and travel into this rundown funerary home under the cover of a cloak. The funerary home itself, and most funerary homes in Chandla, have been abandoned because there's no use for them anymore. Hanging over the top of this one at the front door there's like a set of stone steps leading up to a set of double wooden doors that are kind of crumbling down and broken down with age. Chipped stonework goes around these doors in an arch. And at the top of these, you see an image of Death herself, a cloaked female figure with a hood draped so low that it almost covers her face completely. She has her hands resting upon an anvil, open palms up. And you can see that the artist has taken certain liberties here with adding bits of ash falling off of her robes and cloak. Anna walks forward and pushes the door open for you, Lily, allowing you all entrance into the funerary home. There's a few beats that go by as you make your way through the various ramshackle coffins and what's the word here? Recesses in the side of the wall for storing supplies and other bodies or skeletons that have decayed. And eventually Anna makes her way to the back and opens up this stone hatch that's built into a groove in the floor, pulls it open with a pulley system that's hidden into the wall. She pulls a lever and it pulls it up. And there's a set of stone steps that leads down into the Hands of Death hideout in this part of the city. She gestures for you all to head down. Lind nods at you, Esther, and says, "Well, shall we be off then?"
Yes, let's. They can do their whole macabre thing that they do.
Wait, did we just casually show Lind where the hideout is? I feel like he doesn't get to leave.
Yeah.
Perhaps he might have said that before we actually entered.
Yeah, that's fair. Sorry, I kind of bumbled ahead with the narration there. But yeah, we can say he didn't see any of that. He can be waiting outside.
Okay. At that point, he's just not going to leave. We're just going to shut the door after him and, keep him down there.
Yeah. I think there was a part of me subconsciously that wanted to have Anna try and capture him, but I shouldn't do that. Okay.
I like it.
I mean, I was looking for the opportunity to do that.
You could try it. I don't know.
Let's carry on.
I think in Nightlight, I suppose, before anyone goes in, when Lynn does say that, I think that's when maybe I look at Anna and say, "I'll speak with you soon, as per our agreement."
Anna nods. And then there's one more thing, Esther, before you leave. She says, although if you could hand over the relics to me at this moment, we could keep them safe. I would appreciate that.
What and how do you expect me to do my work?
You're going to get rid of them tonight?
I'm going to work on it.
She blinks. All right. Fine. I suppose that's the best course of action. Thank you, Esther.
I suppose. You're welcome. Ugh. Okay, let's go, Lynn.
She smiles.
Don't hurt yourself.
Lynn nods. I'll see you in the market tomorrow.
Oh, right. Sure. Lilith, be quiet with the door on your way in. Professor.
Esther.
So,
And I leave.
people can split up now. We can cut to a couple of different scenes. So I think chief among things the party wants to get done, Esther needs to deal with the relics, however we want to get that done. Florence wants to do some research. Lily, I'm not sure what you want to accomplish at this moment, but you could tag along with either of them.
I'd like to keep my eye on Lind. I'm just that really shook me up being recognized because it's been so long.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to stealth my way around my house. What is it? Where do we live?
I imagine you as, and this is up for negotiation, so I'm down for your ideas. I imagine like we live probably just right above the art studio, in sort of like a semi-okay series of apartments.
I feel like we've spoken about that before because that is exactly what I envisioned. So maybe we're just on the right track.
Yeah, and
Who knows?
just to be clear, I mean, and again, like I'm down for your ideas on this, but I don't think you have a bed.
My God.
The heck?
No, you gotta have a bed, right?
Like,
I mean, like
on the floor.
A couch.
I was thinking maybe a couch.
yeah, that's
It's moth
fine.
eaten.
Exactly, right. And because I don't think it's a nice apartment at all.
No,
There's a shared bathroom down the hall.
Yeah, definitely.
And again, I'm totally down for your ideas, but that I don't let you use.
Oh my
I
gosh.
wouldn't live in this kind of environment.
Okay, all right.
I have access to the bathroom. Yes.
Okay, that's something that was like in my mind, maybe negotiated at some point, like
It's
fine, shit where you want.
I don't think the story really has to take. We don't have to delve into those details per se.
Okay, fair.
I definitely, yeah.
I think there is a bit of an inconsistency that we need to deal with, where the living situation with Esther has to be bearable enough to the point where Lily wouldn't just stay at the Hands of Death hideout, right? Because they don't have full facilities there, but there's definitely like a couch or like a chair you could curl up on in a pinch, right? They have like one kind of nice cell that they could keep prisoners in.
I'm a couch hopper. What can I say?
Yeah. You could also room with, any of the other hands who make their way around the hideout. So the fact that you're staying with Esther, I think, has mostly been due to Esther's ability to be like, you're coming with me, child. Stay with me. You'll learn everything you did learn. Yes. Yeah.
I've been kind of stowed into the Hands of Death quarters, so I envision that there was some sort of disconnect where I'm not alongside Lind and Esther, but I'm fine going along with them immediately or waiting until nightfall to sneak back to home. I'm fine with either.
So correct me if I'm wrong, it is nightfall right now, right?
No, it's just dawn. You got back to the city right as dawn was breaking. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, you all had a chance to sleep in the carriage and stuff. It's not like you stay up all night. Lind, I think, is thinking he's going to be able to, like, head off Esther and, like, go take care of his affairs, and then he'll meet you back at the market at noon.
I'm into it.
Okay. So Lily, you could follow him right now if you wanted to. I don't think it's also not out of the realm of possibility. In fact, I think I would say it makes a lot of sense that you could just wear a death mask out and around town to be somebody else, so you're not easily recognized.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Then I'm definitely going to follow him.
Okay. All right, cool. So let's resolve that right now. So go ahead and roll me a stealth roll, and I'll oppose with Lynn's notice.
I need to take a quick break. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Hella. Oh, by the way, chat, we're bringing back the word hella.
I'm so happy. Ooh. How do we want to proceed?
Ow. mm, um. Man.
Remember, failure can be interesting sometimes.
Is my so okay? If I'm wearing a death mask and he notices me, he's not going to know it's me. Am I understanding that correct?
I think so. Yeah, but he will definitely notice that he's being followed.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, interesting. Okay, let's take a 5-minute break. We'll wait for Steph to get back, and then we'll resume.
Okay.
Wow. Talk to you
I guess.
soon.
I'm gonna go eat a spoon of peanut butter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be right back, everybody. See you in a bit. Welcome back. Welcome back, everybody. We're back. We had a cackling good time coming back in for the break here. Okay, so Lily, you have tried to follow Lind under the guise of your death masks, wandering through the streets of Chandla, trying to see where he's going to go. Chandla, as I said, is a suffocating place. Because it's a seaside town, the rain here and the humidity is incredibly high. So there's this cloak of like mist and fog that hangs over everything. It almost feels like you had like a damp rag on your face 24/7. Chandlans take pride in being able to live in this environment, and they say anybody who can't handle the weather probably didn't deserve to be in the city in the first place. You're pushing your way through crowds of people, trying to follow Lind's portly form as he makes his way up into the upper city streets of Chandla, where the air is slightly clearer and the crowds are slightly thinner. You know the back alleys and the secret ways of Chandla. You've run this city a few times now, especially working around the streets with Ester. So you take a couple of circuitous routes in following Lind. Despite this, the old codger seems to have some preternatural sense of being hunted. Maybe his experiences in the Riftrite have left him to always be looking over his shoulder, but you get the distinct impression that he knows you're there. Yet he seems to continue his business as usual. The first thing you see him do is make his way uptown to what you think is some sort of shop. It has a wide glass window in the front. There are a number of these fine glass bottles on display with different colorless liquids suspended in them, and some of them have amber liquid suspended in them. And you can see that there is a sign etched into the glass of this shop that says "Parfumeurs" or perfume. Lynn's looking up on it, nodding his head, scratching his chin, and then he walks up to the front door and tries it, notices it's locked, nods, and reaches into his luggage he has with him and takes a key out and undoes the lock and heads inside. It takes him a few moments rummaging about in there. You're not quite sure what he's doing, though you do see him walk past the window a few times. At one point, you do see him walk past the window carrying a sack of coins, like he's carrying it from one part of the store to the other. And then, after a few more moments, he comes back outside, locks the door behind him, and stands there scratching his chin. He pauses, looking up to the sky, thinking to himself, and then says, "You can come out now, if you want." I don't bite, and I would rather not be black-bagged. If that's all the same to you, maybe we could make a deal.
Man, okay. I come around the corner from wherever I was.
You reveal yourself, stepping out of the shadows. Lind looks surprised to see that's where you emerged from, but he still knew you were there to some capacity. All right. I understand. I was heavily involved with the Verdanthi up till now. You probably already know that she's dead, and you've come to question me.
You're the first person to recognize me for being anyone. Who am I?
Are you like altering? Okay, yes. All right. He pauses for a moment, and he says, who are you? I'm not sure. Are you perhaps an agent of another Verdanthi, tracking me down? I have money.
You knew my face.
So just to be clear, you're not wearing. I didn't think you were wearing the same death mask that you've been wearing. They have others, so you could put on a different one than the cultists is.
No, did he recognize Lilith's face?
Right. That's what I'm referring to.
Oh, she's wearing a death's mask, so you don't look like Lily right now. You look like another person.
We can backtrack. Who do I look like now?
Well, that's why I was asking, because like if you roam about the city with like your face uncovered, people will recognize you, and then that will tip off that the Verdanthi that you're being looked for. So,
I guess it's definitely a major convenience, but I hadn't planned for having that. Okay, hold on.
That's I had asked before you went off to follow Lind if you were wearing one, because I thought that would make it easier if you.
Yes. Oh, I just meant like just generally speaking, having that as an option is
Oh yeah.
is good. It's a convenience for sure.
I think it's probably the main reason why they haven't found you yet, right? Like, because otherwise,
I guess I just thought I was like that stealthy, and I like colored my like I'm a natural blonde. Like I go through disguises.
I mean that's fine. You can go through disguises as well. You don't always have to use a death mask.
So I have like basically I have a functioning alias.
Sure, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why you're asking him who you were, right? But Lynn doesn't know who your alias is if you're dressed up as that right now.
Okay, then yeah, we'll back up. I'll start that over. And he's closed up his perfume shop
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and he's looking around outside. Okay. I don't want to do anything.
What?
Can I You know what? I want to jump him from behind and knock him out.
What?
Oh my god.
So dramatic.
Can I ask what the line of thinking is?
Before he locks up, I want to question him. I've got questions.
Okay. So hold
So-
on. So you don't want to knock him out then?
Well, he'll wake up briefly after, right?
So your plan is, so in broad daylight on the streets of Chandler, you wanted to knock a man out, drag him into the perfume shop, drag his bulk into the perfume shop, and then interrogate him
old
inside
man,
his
too.
own shop.
And you know he has plans later.
Okay, no, nope, I won't do that.
Follow your star, but you know, I don't not follow your star.
You can, so you're in a position where he doesn't know who you are, right? So at this point in time, his loyalties might have his loyalties aren't his loyalties towards the hands of death. If he's faking them, he wouldn't fake them here. So this gives you an opportunity to actually question him in, about things that he might not be willing to tell Lily or Florence or Anna, right? Or Ester even, because he thinks you might be an agent of another Verdanthi. So that might give you an opportunity to be like, to question him about things you might want to know about. You could also reveal yourself as Lily, try to terrify him and telling you stuff, or,
I mean, my hesitation is that I don't think it's within her. I don't think it's in character for her to like deceive him in that way, because Lily's a little too spontaneous and like hot-headed, and yeah, oh, gosh, I mean, like, I want to know. I want to keep following him, but yeah, I don't see her pretending to, well, because I don't remember anything from like my prior life that I don't feel like I'm able to like draw from that to like fake it.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I'll reveal myself. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, the other option is he could say, come out, reveal yourself, and you could just do nothing. You could see what he does.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want to do nothing.
Okay, so you just stay hidden. Well,
I'm
hidden.
super hidden. He's just paranoid. He's just being paranoid.
He pauses for a second, looks around, and says, "Oh, come on, I know you're there. I caught you at the back streets of the market when we were heading through it. I saw you in the lower corridors when we were walking through those. You jumped up on a rooftop at one point. Nothing? All right, look. I don't know who you're with, if you're with the Verdanthe, then I'm he pauses for a moment, thinking over his words carefully. If you're with the Verdanthe, then I'll have to ask you to kindly leave me alone. I've been through a very traumatic experience with one of your members, and I'd rather not relive it by getting involved with your organization again. Please, if you're with the Hands of Death, then I want you to know that I'm doing my best to keep perfectly quiet about what I've experienced. Yes.
Are you trying to get yourself killed? I walk
He-
around the corner.
He jumps a little bit at the voice. No, not at all. Not at all.
I think whatever it is that you're up to right now, let's just not be so obvious about it, shall we? I grab his arm and we walk down the street together.
Okay.
So, yeah, what business brings you to Chandler?
He's glancing at you. I've just returned from a rather extended trip, and I needed to check up on my business ventures while I was gone. Make sure money...
Verdanthe, wasn't it?
You know, I have been involved with those types of people before, but I've recently cut ties with them.
And if you were to, have some sort of helpful information regarding Lilith Mortimer, does the name strike a bell?
It does not. Not at all, in fact. No, never heard of her. Not a bit. I mean, I've seen her face on the wanted posters, of course, but seeing her in person, that would be wild if that had happened to me.
Really? Because I just I think you may know more about her than you're leading on.
No, not at all. Nope. Not one bit.
I'd like to use empathy and decide if I believe him.
You mean believe the fact that he's going to keep your secret?
No, I'm just trying to figure out, well, I mean, yes, there's multiple motives here, but does he only know the face from the posters, or is there more information that he can give me?
Okay. I'm wondering if there's a disconnect here. So he's definitely seen Lilith Mortimer's actual face, because you took off your death mask in the carriage on the ride back. So he doesn't know you're Lily right now because you're disguised.
Right.
So what he's telling you is a lie, because you're Lily, and he's definitely seen you, and he knows where you are. He knows you're in the city anyway.
And that I'm okay. Yeah.
So he thinks what you are right now is an agent of Verdanthe trying to question him because they know of his involvement with Kathrine, and he's not giving Lily up.
Okay. You're right. Oh, he passed the test. Ding, ding, ding.
Okay.
He's hot, he's eligible, and he's loyal.
That nightcap really does it for people, I'll tell you what. It's a sleep.
There's nothing quite like a slightly droopy eye, like looking right into yours, saying, "I won't betray you to the Gestapo."
Okay. Well, yeah, I guess under the circumstance of my death mask and not giving myself up in broad daylight, I'm gonna keep the interaction short and just, yeah, I guess I just tested him, but I do want to see where he goes next, unless it is time for him to return to. Oh wait, no, where is he going?
He's probably going to go get something to eat. His following actions will be very mundane. He went to go check up on his businesses to make sure everything's okay, and he's going to go get something to eat.
But what is he going to get to eat?
He'll eat some shellfish. He'll go to a fine seafish restaurant and order crab.
But what kind of shellfish? Crab?
Yeah,
okay.
Blah blah blah.
Like king crab. Yeah.
He would.
Okay. So Lily, unless you want to do anything else with him, we can cut away. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. Esther, would you say that taking care of these relics is a right now thing or a later on this evening sort of thing?
Esther's not thinking about it at all.
Okay. Then let's cut over to Florence at the moment. Florence, how are
Yeah.
you feeling about this whole disgratia business? About what
I
you
feel
saw?
upsetty spaghetti. That's how Stephanie feels. Florence feels like this is really troubling, and we need to go research this ASAP. We're going straight to the library.
Okay.
Straight to the library.
Oh, fuck yeah! Library! Having fun isn't hard when you've
This is why I'm
got a
not bringing you.
library card.
Hush, spirit that annoys me.
Oh.
Uh,
The ghost wanders off.
Okay, so Florence, why don't you describe to me, because it's in your background that you are actually a professor, right? You're a professor of
Yes.
the after, a thanatologist, a professor of verdantology, right? So why don't you describe to me what the university grounds look like in Chandla, what its name is, and what this library looks like?
Okay, it is simply the University of Chandla, and it
UOC
has
baby.
more money than it should. This university is like way more prestigious looking than the rest of the town. It's probably older. And so, it's getting cramped also. The student dorms have been like creeping onto what used to be parks and things like that. But everything looks pretty nice and it's well kept despite the consistent rain.
Okay. Yeah. So that's perfect. So one of the cool things about Chandla, one of the status symbols of like a slightly richer area is that it gets more space, right? So it's perfect to think that like the student dorms have been like pushing other parks and buildings out as the university's influence expands. And that makes sense because the church has probably been like propping it up to research more about their god and learn more about the whole new rules.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what does the library look like when you stride into it to go research stuff?
We're just gonna go straight up for the Harry Potter libraries, right? It's magnificent. It's the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. Have you ever been to the library at the University of Washington? Because it looks like that in my brain. It's
Ooh, I'm
tall
gonna-
ceilings. Yeah. It's got stained glass that are like surprisingly clean. And there are tables just everywhere where people are studying. And lots and lots and lots of books. And lots of librarians who are vaguely threatening to look at.
Yeah, I think there's a sterner, older woman walking around with like this long, kind of pointed metal stick that you don't know exactly what it's used for, and every now and then she'll like sternly glare at somebody, pick up a book as she's looking at them, and then walk away.
Yeah.
I think it's here underneath the recently replaced stained glass windows that you'll sit down to do your research. The windows here used to display images of both death and the verdant, death and life. Now they've been replaced to just have the verdant's visage in all four forms.
Mm-hmm.
So, research in and of itself. What specifically are we looking to find?
I don't have any real general knowledge of the dysgratia.
Yeah, the
How do you say it?
dysgratia. Yep, that's correct.
Dysgratia, thank you. And so I'm looking for folklore. I'm looking for anywhere it's mentioned. I'm looking for descriptions of its origin, I guess. And themes it's related to in regards to death.
Okay, sounds good. Great. So, you can either make well, let's see here. I think this is definitely a lore roll. I was gonna say it's investigate because you have a stud, which lets you do that anyway. But I think lore makes sense here. This is gonna be you're gonna need to beat a 2.
Cool.
That library is so sexy.
Isn't it gorgeous?
I mean, whoa.
And just real quick, can you describe for me, or maybe you're about to, what it means when researching is at 2 difficulty? Like, what is the reality of that?
Me? Yeah. So what's happening is you'd think this would be harder, right? It's a god that nobody's ever heard of, no folklore or anything like that. But Florence has a benefit that few have had in this area when they're looking into it, and that's firsthand experience. She's seen symbols of the god itself, if it is indeed a god, or the entity, whatever it might be. She's heard tales of its followers, and she even has an example of one of its ceremonies. So if she combines all those things together, correlates them, and looks through different, books and treaties, and scrolls, you can actually find information. So that's why it's lower. So tell me what this research scene looks like, though, Florence. What does the camera see as you're digging through these books?
Sure. So because I've had to change what I teach because of the death of death. I am the professor of verdantology also, so I'm also pulling out books as decoy books because I'm I know that I'm being watched by librarians who definitely keep track of what I do, what all the professors here at the university do. Right. So I've got many books about the Verdanti, but also books about folklore. And, I guess this would all track into my general expertise if you looked at it from the outside.
Perfect.
And yeah.
That's great. Yeah, and that totally makes sense. So you start looking through things. You're reviewing some of the basic theological concepts of life and death, the Verdant and death herself. Reorienting yourself on the basic folklore there. So the common tale with life and death, as it goes, is that they were the original sparks that created this world. The philosophers basically summarize that somewhere off in the cosmos, wherever that may be, there must be higher beings. There must be an order to these higher beings, and two of them must have decided to work together to create Charis, create the world that your feet now stand on. Since early days, the reigning theory of how theology works and the relationship between these two goddesses was they are in love with each other, but they are separate. Well, they are in love with each other, but they are opposed in their forces. So the Verdant, life itself, enjoys things in all their forms, enjoys creating new things, making things, that sort of thing. But death is different. Death only enjoys things that have some life to them, that have lived, that have an actual story to tell. A lot more picky in her choice of things she's interested in.
Mm-hmm.
So the mythology is the Verdant creates things that death will be interested in and then has them live a long and fruitful life so they can gain experiences that death can then take and understand and be entertained by. In a way, the priests summarize the Verdant, every living thing on the world of Charis is a gift from one lover to another, transferred across time. Sometimes you need long-winded romantic stories that you can read and review without end. Death loves those when old people kick the bucket and she can review them over and over. Sometimes you need short, sudden tales of drama, suspense, and even horror, and that's why some people die young. Sometimes you just need cute tales or just tales of, things that are simple, which explains animal deaths. The trade-off for this is that once death understands a thing's story and fully incorporates its being, it gives that essence back into the ether and sends it back along to the Verdant, to life, so the essence can be reborn and reshaped into a new story and start the whole process over again. A cyclical, a wonderful, beautiful cycle that's been around since the dawn of time. This is the theology that the Hands of Death are comfortable with. It's the cycle that should operate, and it's that precise cycle that has broken now. Nobody's getting recycled. No new things are being created. It's probably why there's no children anymore. But one thing you realize as you're reading through these theological texts and folklore is where you should be looking is not in the common beliefs, but in the heresies. The heretical texts, things that people don't think about, because oftentimes heresies are exiled from the churches and from universities and such because they get something wrong, right? But more frequently they're exiled or less frequently though, they're exiled because they get something right. And as you're researching these heresies, there are a number of them. One has the belief that life and death are like two opposing warriors in a constant battle, and life loves everybody equally, but death constantly needs to take them. take lives for her own selfish gain. Another one has the idea that death actually wants to gather souls from life and then forge them into weapons to fight off some far distant creature that needs to be killed and defeated. So the cycle of people dying is actually beneficial for holding off the end of the world. There are a number of things. But there's one heresy you hit upon that seems prominent. The common belief is that death allows creatures to live a long and fruitful life so they can have better stories to look into. That's true, but there's a void there. There's a gap. There's a distance between when a creature is born, when it leaves the Verdant's hands, and when it dies, when it enters death's realm. And that gap, this heresy purports, is suffering. It's a struggle. It's the constant striving to live and to better yourself and to rise above the dregs of the rest of the world, to consume, to become the best that you can possibly be, to rise to the head of your potential. That seems to align pretty well with the Bright Eyes beliefs as you're reading through it. These heretical beliefs were popular back in the older days, back before Chars was founded, back when the Yatharans, an ancient people who inhabited this land before, and the ones who the mountains you were just in are named after, back when they inhabited this region. And the Yatharans actually believed that life and death were actually servants of this struggle. In other words, the creation of this, the life and death cycle was not created as so one lover could give gifts to another lover. It was created to actually support this god. It was created to actually support this belief. In other words, life and death were merely servants of this being. And the struggle, the actual life that every creature goes through, the suffering it endures, that's what sustains this creature.
Mm.
You're reading through a number of these books. You're trying to connect things together. And you're realizing that there is a consistent theology that arrives here, popping up in a number of different references to lesser-known academics, people who are probably laughed out of academia. And as you're putting the pieces together, you realize that, so as you said, the librarians keep a close eye on, what people check in, what they're looking at. You're starting to realize that there might be a correlation between the books that are getting checked out that relate to this struggle being, whatever it might be, if its name actually is Disgratia or not. And you're realizing that there might be something more here that you can discern if you could get a look at those records. However, the librarians do like to keep them, pretty well locked up.
That's fair. I feel like as a professor, I probably have a TA or something.
Yeah, that's fair.
A researcher of some sort who I could.
I was gonna say I could go to the library.
Oh yeah.
Do you know? Does Lilith know how to read?
Yeah.
Yes, I know how to read.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I'm just curious.
Yeah. Ophelia would have taught you how to read. Yeah.
Ah.
You know herbology. Like, there's no way you don't know how to read.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I can read. I'm yes.
Work with deadly
That
poison.
moment when you look down at your hands, am I literate?
Work with deadly poison. Also, you can't read any of the labels. Cool.
Is that okay?
Yes. Oh yeah. No. 100%. No. Yeah.
Florence, are you okay with that, or did you have something else in mind?
Oh, I was gonna have the opportunity to bring in a new character, but I could. Yeah, come on in. Come to the library.
I'm obsessed
I like it.
with you. No.
I'm obsessed with you.
But I'm like I got some sneaks.
You are a student of the university, aren't you?
Like, what if my alias was your TA?
That could be it too. Do we want to do that?
Fun. Yeah, I like it.
Okay. So
I after my little stint of sneaking around town, I know exactly where to find Florence. It's where she always is.
Mhm.
And the library is by far the nicest place. I'm able to go and blend in. So I too love being there. And shortly into Florence's session, I walk in.
Okay. Florence, your TA has strode through the doors to the library.
Strode through the doors. Excellent.
Long time no see.
Have a seat. And you're sitting behind like a lot of books, like just towers of them, and most of them are open and stacked on top of each other. And I don't take notes because that would be incriminating evidence. But I've got like fingers on like several books at the same time, trying to keep my place.
I graciously put my fingers into a book as a helping hand to you.
Thanks.
This is a good RPG.
What is your alias name? Because I would know this face of yours.
Willie. Just kidding.
Willie.
No!
It rhymes with Lily.
If you wanted to keep up the theme, you could have your name be Maris, which is another succubus from lore, but I don't know if that's what you were going for.
I want to be like super plain.
So like 16th century playing.
Yeah, 16th, like
Stacy.
Stacy. Does that
Derna.
name exist?
Elga.
Elga. That's such a name. Wow, can you imagine naming a baby Elga?
Annie.
Gwendolyn.
Perfect.
Gwendolyn.
That's
Okay.
not.
Yeah,
That's not
fuck
basic.
yeah. Fuck
Okay,
yeah.
Gwen. Gwen can be your name. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
writing this down. I'm
I'm
gonna forget
on
all these
Gwen.
names. Okay, Gwen. Gwen has been my TA for I guess a couple of years now. Would be the case, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you're probably well known around the library as Gwen.
I mean, like, how did I even get this mask?
The Hands of Death would have given it to you.
Yeah. The Hands of Death can craft these things. It takes about a week to make one. The process is best left to the imagination. It's probably somebody that was, poking around places they shouldn't have been, and now it's your face.
But like, that wouldn't be yours. So like, I'm your new TA, and I just like transferred to the school.
No, it's fair to. I think it's fair to say you got the mask right around the time you met Florence for the first time, right? When this whole shebang kicked off.
Mm-hmm. Welcome to our Dark Academia roleplay.
We didn't vote for this story, but we're doing it anyway. Yeah.
We're doing it anyways. All right.
I can't believe I have to like, oh, and I sometimes go in and lecture.
All right. So, thank you, Will. So I hand a couple of books back over to Gwen, and I'm like, can you take these over to the gosh, what's the desk called? The research desk? No, the whatever. Anyways, the research desk, and see who else has checked these out in the last month or so, and be subtle.
Oh yeah, for sure. I grab the stack of books and head over to the research desk.
Okay. So the research desk, you put the stack of books back where it belongs. Place it back there to be returned to the proper shelves and locations. There is a stern-faced librarian sitting at the research desk, staring down at her nails as you approach. She looks up from her nails and looks at you and says, "Oh, thank you." Takes them, pulls them forward. "How's your semester going? Students being a little shits again?"
Always. Me
Always.
especially. I don't know.
She shakes her head and glances over in a corner of the library for some reason. You don't quite understand why. And then you look closer and you see that there are a couple of recently cleaned up stains on the wall. And she says, "Always." Turns back to you.
Hey, I was curious. I've been waiting on these books for a long time. Who do I need to go hassle next time? Can you tell me who took these books out?
She blinks. "Well, that information is generally protected."
Oh, but you know me. I'm your favorite passerby.
Sounds like a rapport roll. Why don't we go ahead and roll? I will oppose. All right, this librarian has
Opposing this rapport.
+1.
I don't want to have a nice conversation with you.
It's a tie. Okay, so you don't succeed, but you get a boost. So she looks at you and she says, "I know you, yes, Gwen, but I can't just hand that out, right? I would need some incentive, some assurance that I'm not going to be, reported." If you catch my drift. The librarian needs a bribe.
I just don't know how to bribe a librarian. Oh God. Okay.
So this is also an aspect, right? You can invoke this against them if you wanted to, or you could get Florence to get involved. Yeah.
You could offer to take over some of their work
Mm.
because you're a frequent
Yeah,
library visitor.
Oh gosh. I mean,
Can I take care of this cart for you?
Yeah, the
trade
stains.
for a trade. I can put these books back. You can keep your feet up. Just, have a easy day. I'm a really good TA. Just ask Florence. Or Professor Alagard. I'm sorry.
There you go.
All right. Let's call that a free invoke of the librarian needs a bribe, and you can either take +2 to your roll, or you can re-roll. So you can go for the succeed with style, or you can get a sure success.
Wait, what am I rolling?
So you've rolled rapport, right, at a 0.
Yeah.
The librarian needs a bribe is a boost you got from tying that roll, because the librarian rolled a 0 as well. You have a free invoke on that boost, which is basically like a free expenditure of a fate point. When you spend a fate point, you can take +2 to your roll, to your rapport roll here, which will put you at 2, which is a success.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, all right, cool. You do so. She nods and eagerly bends down beneath her desk and pulls out some cleaning supplies. And she says, "The second floor had a couple of folks who came in with some of those, what do they call them? Seafood sandwiches? Mayonnaise, tuna, everywhere. Please, if you would."
And the names?
Yes. She reaches down into a nearby filing cabinet, unlocks it with a key, pulls it open, and rifles through it with her fingers, and then begins to pull out a number of sheets. She clumps them together into a pile of about 20 sheets and hands them over to you. Here you go.
Oh. I grab the cleaning supplies and the sheets and give her a little smile.
She
And I trot
smiles
off.
back tightly. Yep.
I sneak the papers off to Florence for her to review, and I am, stealthy when I do it, and then I head up to the second floor to clean up some mayo.
Okay. All right, Florence. You're looking at these sheets. There's about 20 of them, one for almost every book you checked out. You're going to have to cross-reference and figure out exactly what happened here. So let's call it an investigate roll.
All right.
But
I love researching.
Yeah, but since you're doing the written word, you get to use your stunt, which means you can roll lore.
Lord. Oh, good, because I had a 0 in investigate. All right, here we go.
However, this is, yeah. Okay, so I was going to say the difficulty of this is a 4. So
Great.
what's going on?
Let's use a fate point.
Okay.
And I'm going to say perhaps death is the answer for my... Actually, no, I'll use my high concept because I'm a professor. I'm good at researching things.
Okay, sounds good. The +2 won't get you there, so you'll have to go for a reroll.
Yeah. Wow, that's such a beautiful, terrible roll I had. Okay, here we go. Hello?
Is it working?
Okay, I'm clicking again. There we go. Thank you.
Boom. Not quite a success with style, but it is a success. Are we staying?
Let's take it.
Okay.
Yes.
You research through the names and such. You're looking through. You notice that there is a correlation. A couple of people checked out the same books a number of times, but there's nothing really that strikes your eye about a pattern until eventually you start to realize that repetitively over and over at different periods of time there is a single name, Paracanassus, which is being repeated. It doesn't really click with you at first, and the first name, by the way, is Oscar Paracanassus. Oscar Paracanassa. It doesn't really click with you at first, and you're like, Paracanassa. And you realize at that moment that this word is another portmanteau. Much the same way that dysgratia is a portmanteau of two old Yatharan words, which you learned before when you were thinking about it on your ride up to the chalet. Paracanassa is also a portmanteau of two Yatharan words. Perike, which means final or last, the penultimate of something. Sorry, not the penultimate. The very last of something. And nasa, which means grasp, grab, grip. So combined together into this mangled version of the Yatharan language, Paracanassa would mean the last grasp, or, in other words, to be read a different way, a death grip.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a last name. That's a fake last name.
Yeah.
And you also realize that because of the way it's put together, maybe this is a clue to, or maybe a code to anybody else who might be looking for something similar.
Interesting.
You find that name is referenced several times, and you get the idea to look it up in the city registry, which is present in the library. You find a listing for Paracanassa books, actually, in the lower quarter of Charis, down by the docks.
Okay. Well, I guess I better put my books back and head down to the docks.
Cool.
And grab Gwen.
Yeah. Gwen's almost done cleaning up the tuna salad.
It's
Esther.
so smelly.
Esther, what did you want to do for the rest of the day? Did you want to meet up with Linda in the market? Do we care about that at all? Do you have anything else you want to get done?
Absolutely, I care about that. I spent a fate point for this, damn it.
That's fair.
You sure
That's
did.
fair. Okay.
And I believe this is with Florence, correct? That was what
deal.
was agreed upon.
In fact, Florence, you're realizing as you're getting Gwen that it's about time to go meet Esther.
Excellent. I think I gotta send Gwen down to the docks to like get a lay of the land, and I'll be like, I'll meet you there in a few hours.
Perfect. Okay. So, yeah. So
I don't want to not go to the meeting.
I'll fill you in after, I promise.
Oh man.
Mm.
I begrudgingly go to the docks.
I mean, do you? I feel like it's hard enough being a teenager. I think you're going to try to sneak to be in the meeting anyway.
Oh my god.
I begrudgingly head towards the docks until Florence turns around.
Okay. All right. Take a fate point and head to the docks. Or not head to the docks. Head to the meeting. Okay. So, Esther, tell me what this marketplace looks like where you're meeting Lind, and tell me how he arrives and how you meet each other. Actually, tell me how. Yeah, and then Florence, you can describe how you arrive.
Okay. So due to sort of the climate of this place, a lot of the heat isn't necessarily from like a bright sunlight coming from above. So despite the market having all sorts of coverings and such, the coverings are all built in such a way out of this sort of material that is, and with a mechanism that's easy to roll back and then roll back forward. So several times throughout the day, the coverings are rolled back and forth depending on the humidity and the heat going on, so that heat isn't trapped in the stalls. And so it's just sort of like constantly a bunch of like terrible sounds, like constantly, yeah, like cloth like folding in, making these horrible wet noises, the like creaking like mechanisms from vendors who have been there for 80 years, like across multiple generations. It's overall like not a very pleasant place, but it is a place where you can buy all sorts of things.
Yeah, I'm imagining these like shields as like wicker curtains, like made out of like beads and wicker, so they like rattle when they're pulled back, but they're built that way to keep the rain off. Yeah, that's cool.
Absolutely, I love that.
Okay, how does Lind arrive?
So I'm imagining perhaps I arrive to Lind and then begrudgingly wait for Florence. That's
Okay.
kind of how I'm imagining the start of the scene.
You see Lind bending over this like stack of candles at a vendor's stall, studying the wax, and he's picking up one and turning it over in his fingers as you approach.
Over here, Manling. I have arrived.
What did you call me?
Lind. What else would I call you?
My ears must be failing in my old age. He puts the candle back.
Oh, you're not that old. What are you? Definitely in your 40s?
He grumbles and says, "Yes, absolutely in my 40s."
Where is she?
Florence, how do you arrive?
Late with a latte.
Okay. I love this. It's like, what is it stored in? Okay, it has like a stone. It's got to have like a stone like carafe or something that you're drinking out
Like
of.
my camping coat or something.
Yeah. So Florence is just walking through this rainy market with an umbrella and like a coffee, as
Yeah.
like the steam's coming off. Yeah. Esther, you see her approaching.
Professor? Hello. Are we good
Esther?
now? Can we go?
Where are we off to?
Lind and I are walking around, and you are following 10 paces behind us.
Does it have to be 10, Esther?
I will accept 8.
Lynn smiles and says, "Why don't we split the difference and just walk all abreast? I think that'd be easier."
Good idea, Lind.
Lily, where are you going to be?
I have a book in front of my face and I'm reading.
You're just like sitting on a bench, watching them walk by, or leaning up against the stall, rather. Yeah.
No, I'm doing like Belle from Beauty and the Beast. I'm reading with the book in front of my face and walking.
Yeah. Oh, okay, gotcha. Cool. Sounds good.
In the pouring rain.
Well, aren't we undercover now?
There is
I
enough
guess,
cover
yeah.
in the markets. Yeah, they probably put
Love
up
it.
tarps underneath everything. Yeah. Yeah. So you guys group up and you're walking around, Lily following secretively behind. Where are we going, Esther?
Lynn and I we're just walking around, and specifically over a period of time, perhaps he comes to realize that he's just accompanying me shopping.
What are you buying?
All sorts of things. There are these little candied apples that Esther really enjoys. Going into a bag that she puts into Lynn's hands. There are these small baubles, which I'm not going to describe anymore because I feel like the word bauble should be descriptor enough. And again, like just sort of handing it to Lynn. And at some point, being just once again too familiar with him, and is walking at side by side with him, and really just like actually trying to like outpace Florence just a little bit.
Lynn's looking between the two of you, and you're noticing Esther at every opportunity. He's trying to like spark conversation between you and Florence, possibly to get him out of this situation, possibly to just have a good time. So he says, "Florence, what do you think of these candied apples? Have you ever had one?"
No, let's open up that bag.
Oh yes. What do you think, Esther? Should we crack one open? I've never had.
You don't have to
one
ask
myself.
Esther.
I think what I do with my candied apples should be my business. Say, Lind, I don't know. Do you want to really just be away from
Lynn frowns and he says, "No, I think this arrangement is perfectly fine as it is."
Fine, have your candied apple. And I reach into the bag and I throw one at you, Florence.
Florence,
Do I have to roll for this?
No, you catch it as it thumps against your chest, and you're like, "I got it." Yeah,
Thanks.
it's sweet. Tastes succulent. You feel the ripeness of the apple as you put it into your mouth. Lynn continues walking along, and he turns to you eventually, Ester, and says, "Is any of the things we're buying here going to be useful for, dealing with the things later on?"
Trust me, Lynn, you don't want to be any part of that business. And no one should want to be any part of that business. And, now that we're talking about this, why, yes, thank you. Thank you for bringing this up, Lynn. And, Florence, handy that you're here. The fact that you've brought Lilith so deeply into this business, and she seems to love it, how do you not see the issue here?
Florence looks around at this very public market that we're in and is like, "Hey, did you see the baubles over there?"
I will speak in code enough. Do not ignore me, Alagard.
I mean, you bring her over into your business all the time. It's the same business. I don't know what you're so upset about.
Lynn people? The same business?
Basically. I mean, whenever you deal with a bauble, it's the same thing.
Surely that is not your spiritually held beliefs. If anything, dealing with these baubles is good, is it not?
Oh, it's great. And it's completing the act of consumption.
And is killing someone so equally wonderful.
I thought we were talking code here.
Is
unaliving someone. No.
Eating a candy apple.
Is eating someone's candied apple to death so equal in your mind?
Not sure that code quite gets the exact point across. It sounds like something else.
Quiet, Lind.
It does sound like something else. What else are you upset about?
Lily swoops in. She's taken off her death mask, but her hood is up. Her face is completely hidden. And she, does one of her cute little stealth moves and grabs the bag out of Lynn's hands and proceeds to eat a candied apple.
Ah!
Hey, why don't you guys stop talking about me like I'm not here?
You're not supposed to be here. You're supposed to be at the...
Look how uppity she's become. Am I useless now? What am I?
Maybe I want more in this world than to just play along with your stupid little art projects, and I actually want to make a difference. Have you ever considered that, Esther?
Stupid little
Esther
art projects.
Is making a difference. And she turns on Lily and she's like, what Esther's doing is necessary.
Yeah, but they don't even care. I care. I'm going to make a difference. Highland.
We're all fighting about something that doesn't need to be fought over.
Don't mind me. I'm not even here.
Yes, you are. Don't
why
think about
why are we perusing the market? Aren't we supposed to be getting down to business? Let's go.
Yes,
you are supposed to be getting down to business, but you're here. Why are you here?
And Lind, have a higher self-confidence.
Can't listen to an order.
Lind scrunches his eyeballs together, or his eyelids together, looks at all of you, and he says, if I'm being honest, I feel like I'm the most together out of this entire group. I'm surprised you all managed to do anything at all with this dysfunction.
Yes, that is exactly what I'm talking about. Well done. Also, shut up.
He smiles and he says, "You're like a cat. You're like a cat. That's what you're like."
Yes. Fickle, but likes things. Good. Wow, good comparison. Lind,
you should try petting the cat.
No, I swear, if you touch me, And but just to be clear, I have my arm in his arm as I say that.
Lynn like shakes his head vigorously and says, no, not at all.
All I'm saying is perhaps greater gravity should be given to the death of someone.
Do you think no one should die?
Of course not. Of course not.
And so, us, eating some apples to ensure that death can happen at all is so
Yes.
upsetting to you? What do you want to happen instead?
It's just so easy to convince yourself that their life doesn't matter and to snuff it out.
It's not that it doesn't matter. Of course they matter. And it's not easy, but it has to be done.
Lily, as your two, I don't want to say parental figures because that's weird, but the closest thing you have are arguing with each other.
They really are.
You look to your right and you see that over in one of the alleyways off to the side of a market, there's a man sitting there hunched in like a half full puddle of water, just sitting there with his head drooped down. And every now and then he'll put his head back, his eyes rolled up in their sockets, and inhale a gust of air and then go, and breathe it out. It's imperceptible to anybody else, but with your abilities, you notice a faint blue trail of ghostly vapor rising up from his mouth. You can tell immediately that this man, a rare case, is possessed. It's a rare thing that happens with ghosts in the city. Sometimes they break free of the Vera rods, the lightning rods that the Verdanthi have set up around the various towers of Chandla, and drift down to possess somebody, which represses the host's ability to control their own body and lets the ghost control it for a time. Usually the church will deal with these, but you do notice this man in the alleyway.
Without another word, I go over to investigate closer. I don't mention it to anyone.
See, look what she does. She just goes off without saying anything into the middle of some alley. Like, I'm not saying that she shouldn't be doing these things. I wish you would give more care to where she's going to end up.
Lily, you reach the man, and you can see he's sitting there. He looks like he's in pain. You know from experiences you've had before that people who are possessed by ghosts, the feeling feels like suffocation. Suffocation's not quite right. It's more like you had like a very heavy weighted blanket placed over your whole body. He's sitting there, eyes rolled back, clearly in supernatural pain. But the ghost hasn't decided to move his body yet. Maybe the possession isn't fully complete? You're not sure.
Hello?
His head slowly turns towards yours. Ugh.
Who is that in there? What are you doing to this poor guy?
Man killed me.
I'm sorry. Did this man kill you?
Man killed me. Gotta pay for it. And Lily, you look further off down the alley, and you can see, now you notice now, it's been washed away by the rain, and it must have been a while since it happened. And tucked away here in the market, it's difficult for anybody to notice with everything crammed together. But you see the tail end of two boots pointed out of a back alley with a slight trickle of blood running out from them, being washed away from the cobblestones by the rain. We're gonna make him jump off the highest tower I could find. And then he'll be just like me. What do you do?
Why did he kill you?
Money. Saw I had a lot. Wanted it.
I'm sorry. Are you sure I shouldn't just have him arrested?
Too good. He'll still have his life. Being dead. Being a ghost. Much better imprisonment.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're a ghost. I don't know what that's like. Are you able to maybe pick up a hobby in the sky somewhere?
There's a wheeze that comes out of the man's chest that you think would be laughter. I can't get him to stand up. I guess it's pretty hard to throw somebody off a building. You seem strong. Don't know how you can talk to me. Can you help me?
I don't know this guy. I'm not going to help you. I'm sorry.
You're not gonna do anything?
Like I said, I mean, I could have him arrested, tip him off, but I try and keep a pretty low figure around town.
You sense a wave of anger pulsing out from the man. The spirit is getting incredibly frustrated. From his point of view, you're realizing what he's run into is a rare occurrence with somebody who he knows, because of his current condition, can actually help him by happenstance, and they're refusing to.
What are Lily's abilities towards ghosts again?
You can talk. She can talk to them.
Yeah.
She can hear them.
Mhm.
She can banish them from places if she needs to. She can convince them to do things for her. She can sway them.
Mhm.
Other abilities might be available. Really, it's kind of up to what Windy wants to attempt.
Listen, I, I don't usually strike deals with ghosts. I mean, we talk, but you're asking me to kill somebody, and I don't even know if they're all that bad. So,
He killed me. He's a murderer.
can I suppose when I am interacting with ghosts, is it fair to say that I would know their intention? Like my skill of like as an empath that I can decipher whether or not this guy is a good guy or a bad guy sort of thing?
You mean get a read on the ghost's ability? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
You
because
can.
I'm walking into this situation, like, I don't know if
Yeah,
he's right.
you
Like,
can.
should I know?
You can definitely make an empathy roll to try to read the ghost for what it was in life, if you want. You could also take a look at the corpse, but yeah, you could do this. This is great. Roll empathy. Let's call it a difficulty 2. And then tell me how you do this. You made it. So tell me how you do this. What does it look like when Lily performs this ability?
It's something that I can do almost invisibly, although I would say visual distraction can become a nuisance. So it's just deep concentration, maybe meditative.
Okay. So you close your eyes and try to like reach out and connect. Probably similar to
Yeah.
what you did with the spirit that inhabited Kathrine's body. Okay. You reach your mind out and you connect to this ghost inside this man's body. You can see him, a prominent merchant, somebody in the upper rungs of Chandla society. He goes about with people who sell things, eats fine dinners in fine restaurants, wears fine clothes. His fingers would have several rings on them, which as you glance down you notice are now on this man's hands, the thief's. He would have been walking around with gold in his pockets, money to spare. He was probably here buying things just like Ester is, baubles and such to decorate his home. Maybe more practical groceries. As for his temperament, yeah, he had a temper, a vicious one, in fact. But he never took it to the point where he enacted it as violence against people. Rather, he would hold grudges for an extended amount of time and then get back at those that he held regrets against. But he could also be kind. He had a capacity for giving money to those who needed it, even when they didn't deserve it. And if somebody did him a good turn, he would always take time to do them a good turn. You can't see any particular direct, this man is evil or this man is bad.
Okay. What's your name? Or was your name? I'm sorry. Do you remember?
Geth, he says.
All right, Gath. Is that Gath?
Sorry, Geth. I said it with a breathy voice.
Geth?
Geth. Yeah.
Oh, all right, Geth. Listen, this is not something you're asking for a lot here. I can try and help you, but I'm going to need something in return. Is there anything you can tell me about the Verdanthi? Do you know what it is?
So the Verdanthi are the group of people who killed Death. Is that what you're trying to ask about?
I mean, nothing in his backstory is connecting him to anything, but I want information. I feel like, so if there's something I could ask him about that's helpful to our cause, I would be okay.
You ask him for something and he says, money? You can take everything I had on me.
Oh, shit.
The coins are in this man's belt, and the rings, they'll be worth a pretty penny. Just give me the strength I need to hurl him off a building.
I look over my shoulder and, see if anyone's watching as I slip the rings into my pocket and the gold coins.
Okay.
Um,
There's a sigh of relaxation that comes from the body. Yes. Thank you.
I grab, oh gosh, what do I have? I could just poison him. Do I have poison?
Yeah, you can have poison.
Listen, if you go be your ghostly self, I do appreciate it. I don't have anything, so it feels like a low blow, but you seemed like a good person. Good enough, at least. I can poison him, but you'll probably want to leave his body first.
A satisfied sigh comes from the man's chest, and he says, go ahead and do it. I'll stay here. I want to feel it for a bit.
With, I'm using my cloak. It's pretty big, so no one knows really what I'm up to. And yeah, I guess I slip some powder in the guy's mouth and then let it go down his throat.
Okay, so Florence and Esther, you definitely realize that Lily walked off, and you can see her over in the alley talking to this man, and then you see her pull her cloak up. She's going mostly unnoticed by everybody else. I say mostly. Unnoticed is what I should say. The market here is much too crowded with people. There's too much rain. The clacking of the curtains. Everything is obscured. But you see what's happening. Lily, you pull your cloak up and put this powder down this man's throat. There's a few ticks that goes by, and then you hear a rumble come out of the ghost's throat that says, yes. Ah. Farewell, you bastard. And then you see a translucent blue line trace its way out of the man's mouth and nostrils as it flows downward in a misty-like bluish form, floats out of his mouth and face, and drifts pleasantly upwards towards the sky, towards one of the Vera rods. As it goes upward, the mist coalesces into the form of Geth's face. He had sharp features, pointed nose, thick, bushy eyebrows. He appears and looks down at you and gives you a smile and says, I thank you, whoever you might be. I will not forget this. You've taken some cash, assuredly, but this deserves more compensation. I will not forget. He drifts away, up towards the skies of Chandler to mingle with the other spirits. The man you've poisoned sits on the ground. How does this poison kill?
Oh, it's odorless, silent.
Right, but by what manner? Is it suffocation? Paralyzation?
Oh man. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the kind of poison I had last time anyway. So yes, it'll paralyze.
The man's demeanor doesn't change much then. He simply slumps more into the puddle, his eyes still rolled back up in his head. They'll never move again. You know in a few moments his ghost will rise from the corpse. You think it'd be best not to be here when that happens, but up to you.
No, I definitely have no interest in seeing anymore. So I do turn abruptly around and honestly, I leave. I'm like kind of, I don't know how to feel, but I'm gonna go get a nice big dinner.
As you come back to the group, Lynn says, "Oh, these candy apples really are quite good, Esther. I have to commend you on that."
Mm-hmm.
I look at Esther and I'm like, I see what you mean.
So, if I could have your cooperation, I suppose, some measure of long-term thinking would be appreciated.
I'm going to create an aspect here. A merchant's purse. This represents the gold that you took off of the man. You can invoke this whatever you would need to pay for something.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Come on, let's go. We need to go report a body.
Esther, was there anything else you wanted to get done in the market scene?
No.
Okay, so here's the thing. It's 5:40.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to roll it forward to deal with the bookstore or dealing with the relics, just to get scenes out of the way and be more economical with our session time. How are people feeling?
Could we for sure be done by 6?
Yeah. Both of those scenes will only take like 20 minutes at most.
Let's do it.
Which one do we want to engage with?
Oh, can we do the relic first?
Yes.
I agree.
Okay. So
okay. Esther doesn't do anything about it.
Oh, nothing?
Correct.
Wait. So the skeleton key, you don't break it.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not at this. Nope.
Okay, this is imperative. Where do you store it?
Just under a plank, under my bed.
Cool. All right. Sounds good to me. Okay. Awesome. All right. Then in that case, Florence, how do we get to the bookstore?
Well, we walk there. I guess.
Sorry, I mean like
aren't we supposed to go to the docks?
the bookstore's down by the docks, yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I mean story-wise, like what does it look like? What does the camera see? You know, do you guys ditch Lind?
Yeah.
Like set the scene for me.
Okay, so I think we set Lind on his way. He is hysterical, but we don't need to chat with him any further. And leave. Yeah. All right. Have a great day, Lind. I'll see you
Candied apples.
some other time.
Meet me here next week.
As you wish.
I sort of like wipe the area where my arm had been touching him.
And then I turned to Esther and I'm like, I potentially found a lead down in the docks. You can come with me or not. It's a bookstore.
Fine. I'll come along.
Excellent. And then we walk our way down. I don't know how big the city is, but, probably takes an hour or so.
Wait, sorry, but just real quick. Professor, though we may be unified, perhaps in purpose, please don't get mushy on me.
I'm just so excited to work with you, my favorite artist in all of the city. And Florence just starts like talking about how great Ester is, very sarcastically, the entire walk down.
That's great. All right, I'm gonna transition you guys over here. Oh, vision. What a fun thing for this thing to have. All right. No, don't enable that.
So the reason I really enjoy Red Wine Supernova is it's not only just like a jovial song, but it's one of those songs that sort of like speaks to the possibility of queer love in a like almost enchanting, magical way that just makes you want to dance.
Cool. Should we put it on?
No, I'm sure that would get struck.
Yeah, I'd get DMCA'd, but I will listen to it. Okay, dark vision. Oh wait, you know what? It's the scene.
Have I mentioned how happy I am to be here with my friends playing this RPG?
Yay!
You're all the best.
Yeah, I'm having fun too. I hope people are enjoying it.
Hey, viewers, you the best.
Wow.
You.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Oh, I gotta finish this clip.
Which clip?
Jeez. Okay, there we go. Okay, can everybody see the picture?
Hello.
Yes.
Okay. You wander your way down by the docks through the twisting, winding streets of Chandla and get to a rundown, ramshackle bookstore that seems to be in some disrepair. You can see that a couple of the windows are broken. There's cobwebs and boards bent out of shape in various parts of it, and a number of past due notices are nailed to the door, seeking deals from creditors. The door itself seems to be shut securely. You can see that there's a sign above the window that reads, Paracanassa Books.
Well,
Awesome.
This rundown ramshackle nowhere is it?
Everywhere is run down and ramshackle. Yes, this is it. I feel like at this point I've explained what I saw in the books to Ester. And I look through the windows. Is there anyone in there?
No, it's dark inside, in fact. You see through dimly lit glass just rows upon rows of books gathering cobwebs and dust. In fact, they're piled so high it almost looks like the owner was on the cusp of moving out, or maybe just moving things around in a frantic panic.
Professor, the books are piled so high in there, it almost looks like someone was moving out, or they were frantically going somewhere in a panic.
It looks like a dream. Is there anything else on the door? Any sort of notices or?
There's a whole bunch of past due notices. Notice of eviction, notice of foreclosure, that sort of thing. None of them have been paid or addressed. There's a final stamp which says seized, and then a writ underneath that reads, this store has been officially seized by the Beastmaster City Guard. No trespassing allowed. The building will be demolished in the next couple of weeks. That sort of thing.
Oh, I get it. This is why. Fine, move aside. And I go to the door.
I move aside.
Picking a lock, are we?
That's precisely what I do. Is I slip a series of thin metal rods outside of my. Forget exactly what I'm wearing. My overcoat, my cloak,
Poncho?
my dress, poncho.
I thought it was a poncho. I don't actually know how to describe it. I always pictured it was like a vest with like a cloak at the end, but I could be wrong.
Viewers, I'll let you decide. In your mind!
Perfect. The difficulty was 3, so good work. You guys are so like you guys are just like roll. I'm like, oh no, I didn't see the difficulty yet. It's fine, but it's just funny to me.
YOLO.
YOLO.
And if I may, it's the kind of thing where I'm just sort of like casually talking to you, Florence, and well, you see, the trick is to be gentle, but then just at the right moment. And then Ester like gives a shove into the door, and it opens.
Like Fonzie hitting the jukebox, the tumblers unlock.
Ester said that.
the door shifts slightly. You see a thin layer of dust drift around the outer edges of it, and then it slowly opens to allow you entrance. Who steps inside first?
Well, doesn't Ester kind of fall in when shoving the door open?
No, they don't have to.
I do step inside first.
Okay. You step inside, and the first thing that you step in is a small puddle of a viscous, slimy fluid.
Ew.
Your foot lands down on it. It's amongst the piles of books. It's like, it squelches on your shoe. And you look down to see this like large puddle. Well, I say large. Probably about like a foot in diameter puddle of green, clear slime. Sort of like if a lot of snails had been resting here.
Ugh. This had better be good.
You can see that the trail, the slime itself, is kind of like positioned around different points of the bookstore. Like it kind of like goes through certain sections of books, winding its way through it, as if whatever was leaving it was dragged around the books.
Professor, this isn't one of those academic things, is it?
I don't think so. This is gross. I pick up my cane and I don't let it touch the floor.
Lily, how do you enter?
I left to go get a meal, but I suppose I could be back now.
Oh, okay. You mean you left in real life?
Like after I had taken the gold coins, I immediately left to go eat like a huge meal by myself.
Right.
You know, back when I used to go to therapy, I would always bring a chocolate with me for after the therapy, and I like to think that if I just killed a man, I would probably go get a big meal, sort of like proportional to the emotional damage wrought, you know?
I needed alone time, but I also was excited for the money. So I did go buy a meal. But like it would be pretty obvious that where you guys were headed since I was supposed to go to the docks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I suppose we discovered one another. And by we I mean Florence and I.
Okay. Lily steps in behind Florence then.
So yeah, I'm trailing behind because I'm full. I'm tired, full.
Okay. Esther, as I described, this place is a various clutter of books everywhere. There are a couple of books set on the front counter. There's a couple of mobiles, you realize, as you look up, of various celestial symbols of both the Verdant and Death drifting around here. Mobiles, as I say, like folded paper shapes of like different symbols of those gods. So like animals and like plants for the Verdant, ash and moons for Death, drifting around silently. There's also a back stairwell that seems to lead up to an upper hallway.
Okay.
I hate nerd shit. Professor, do whatever it is you're going to do here, and tell me when you need someone of actual consequence to accomplish something.
I definitely need your eyes. We're looking for anything about the dysgraphia. I kept finding the name of the shop all over the records that I almost called her Gwen. Lily found for me. I feel like in Florence's mind, Gwen and Lily are almost two different personas.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get mixed up.
Yeah.
And so look for these symbols of the struggle. I think we're gonna find our answers here. But careful with your fingerprints. This is dusty. We're clearly not supposed to be here.
If people want, oh, go ahead.
Question: by symbols, are those like actual like pictographic symbols, or are they writing? Are any of them written words?
In this case, you could probably look for the two symbols you've seen so far was what Rella told you, which is how the Disgratia appeared to her, a being with the head of a lion, the wings of a great hawk, and the body of a man, or insects. Those are the two symbols of the thing you might have seen. As for symbology, you haven't seen anything along those lines. You can make anybody here can make either investigate or notice rolls if they wish. Florence, your written investigate stunt definitely applies here.
Okay, I just want to be really clear though that like we're looking for symbols, not written words.
No, you could be looking for written words as well, digging through the books, that sort of thing.
Okay, Esther looks for symbols.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry. I thought you were asking a question. I didn't know you were. Okay. Yes, you're looking for symbols. Got it.
Okay, so I can use investigate with my stunt.
With your lore, yep.
Yeah, perfect. Here we go.
Whoa. So the difficulty is 4 for this.
Excellent.
Esther and Lily, you guys want to give it a shot?
Yes. We're doing investigate.
Or notice, one of the two.
And wait, sorry, are you once again, Florence? Are you trying to notice written words or symbols?
Anything. I'm like up to my ears in this, so.
Okay, well then, yeah, I'm down to help. Or well, I guess no, then I won't help.
Okay.
3.
Pretty good. Ish.
Esther, did you want to help or did you want to actually look for yourself? You want to look for symbols, right? So go ahead and roll notice or investigate.
Yes. Or sorry, I should roll investigate, not notice.
You can roll either, whichever you prefer.
Copy.
Okay. So, Lily and Esther both fail. Florence succeeds with style. So, Florence, you're walking around looking at these various books, and you notice one thing first. The slime trail itself makes its way through the books and makes its way upstairs to the upper apartments. Whatever is dragged through the books definitely ascended and descended between the 2 floors. And for some reason, you think you should probably follow that and check it out. But you should give these books a cursory glance first.
Yeah.
As you're looking things over, pouring through them, you notice that beneath the counter, there seems to be a hatch hidden underneath the counter itself. It's built into like the side. And you pull that open to reveal a number of these blacker folders, which aren't books themselves. They're just like folders, like notebooks that somebody would write in, right? You pull one out and unwind the leather cord around the brass button, open it up to reveal inside drawings and schematics of insects, various insects, beetles, centipedes, spiders, flies, all repositioned with different diagrams and certain mathematical calculations. You study these pages as you're flipping through them, and eventually as you're going through, you also realize there's schematics for some sort of glass chamber. The measurements list that it must be about the size of a 6-foot-tall man. It'd be a tank large enough to contain a high volume of fluid and a single human body. There also seems to be an apparatus attached to this glass tank and various power couplings that would run off of it. You notice that it's definitely powered by verdant words, which are the words of life which can be inscribed onto things to give them some sort of life's power. It's the same technology that's used to create the Vera rods with the ghosts. But the configurations here are different. The words are definitely of verdant nature, but they're off, heretical, written in ways you've never noticed before and never seen in any of your research.
Wow.
Esther and Lily, you're looking around the shop. You don't really notice much. Esther, you're disgusted by the slime. And then the both of you are pulled sensorially towards the upper floor by separate senses. Lily, first of all, you get like a ping in your head, and you feel this pain kind of shoot through you as you feel a silent psychic scream pierce into your brain. There's a ghost in here somewhere, and it's furious and in pain, but you don't know where it is. The strain lances into your brain, and you take 1 mental stress. Mark off a mental stress box.
Yeah.
Esther, you're looking around, and there's a tug almost at the corner of your notice that pulls your head up towards the upper floors of this place. Something wonderful is here. There is a relic in this bookshop, and it has great power behind it, but it's dangerous, and you feel compelled to interact with it. And that's where we'll pick up next time.
Nice.
Exciting.
All right.
Love a cliffhanger.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for
That was
sticking
good.
around. Appreciate it. I'm gonna go.
Please tune in next time to see whether Esther lives or survives on the next episode. Ester's death.
Are you so sure you're going to die? You're just beginning to live.
Is Esther gonna get laid? Come back next time.
I don't.
Oh,
Okay.
oh,
Great
oh
romance.
no.
Yeah, here's the thing about that, Tony. Like, if you want to push that, that's fine. But I'm not gonna initiate it. But if you're like, I'm doing it, then that's fine. We can push it. Just.
And I'll continue to cock block.
Yeah.
Listen. So long as oh no.
The whole time with Lind, I was like, I know Tony's like trying to do something here, but I don't know if they're actually trying to do something.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Scandalous. All right. Till next time.
Yeah, till next time, everybody. Thanks for stopping in. How
Thanks,
are
folks.
we on playing the 26th?
Let's have a
Oh,
look.
sorry. Are we not live anymore?
No, we still are. Here, let me take us out.
Okay, great. Bye
Bye.
everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Ta 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 ta.